All right, 5.
We are live. Awesome. All right, guys. I'm Janine.
And I'm Jacob, and this is the Lingualite podcast. Today we'll be talking about the spring equinox with Jerome Headley here as guest, and the upcoming energy for this 20th, and explaining how it's going to be affecting the collective, astrological significance, and ways it might show up for us.
Right. And for anybody new just joining the chat or the podcast, let's explain the format a little bit. The first hour is discussion amongst ourselves with Jerome. And then the second hour, we open it up for anyone who would like to jump in, maybe ask them some questions, or maybe share some experiences they're having while they're surfing in these energies for the equinox. Jacob is putting the link down in the live chat box somewhere. If it's not working, let us know. It usually does work. Live. Awesome. All right. A little feedback there. I think it's under control. So yeah, anybody that wants to join us for the second hour, feel free to jump in. There is a waiting room. Jacob will let you in when we open the floor up for others. And also, if you guys like what we're doing, you can also connect with us on Instagram, on Clubhouse. We host rooms on there on Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern. And we have a Discord chat for any of you guys that would like to connect with each other. Anyone who'd like to support us, we have Patreon and a Ko-Fi account, so you can buy us a coffee. But without further ado, let's introduce our guest, Jerome. Hi, Jerome. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Hey, anytime. Yeah. But tell us a little bit about what you do. Like, who is Jerome Headley?
Okay, so I am from the island of Barbados in the Caribbean. I do bioenergetic healing, or what I like to call energy engineering or consciousness engineering. I first started on this journey in 2011, when I had a near-death experience with a car accident. Before the accident, my intuition came on, to the point where I was even able to hear a voice, so it's clear audio came on, but I ignored it, I doubted it, and got into the accident completely unscathed. And from there, I completely started to trust that intuitive sense, to even to the point where it was so strong and so accurate. I could pinpoint. I could probably pinpoint like a needle in a haystack. That was how strong it was back then, and I was. I think I was about like 19 or so. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I started working on a construction site where I remember walking around, and I had lost one of my like a piece of the old BlackBerry headphones, and like the intuitive knowing told me to stop and start to like dig with my boots into the sand, like a couple like centimeters, and I literally found small, tiny little piece buried in the sand. So after that, maybe like I think about 2 months after, I started to like get into more of the societal stuff, getting into drinking, partying, all that stuff, and then the senses started to disappear completely. Right. And that actually brought on this seeking, like needing to like find out what was it and how it came about, how to obtain it again. And yeah, it's led me through an entire series of actually like learning about energy work and energy healing. I eventually got attuned to Reiki while I was studying civil engineering. in Trinidad, and then and then I started to come across certain aspects of the knowledge of the law of one and the and crystalline consciousness, and I had some very very interesting experiences with tuning into what I call the crystal road or the crystal bridge, or some people call it the rainbow bridge, right? And I would see particular stargates approaching, right? So within my consciousness on this bridge, I would see or notice these rings on the bridge coming towards me through my perspective of being on the bridge. And I would also see it, if I intend to, I would see it for the collective as well, or certain individuals, right? And it was back in, I think it was back in 2019, October, it started to become extremely accurate when I started to see. I could be able to tell when the portals or stargates were approaching, and I would notice like people would go through like certain people around me would go through certain emotional changes or emotional purges, right? And the closer it got, the stronger it would get until the wave passed, or they made a choice within their consciousness, and then it would shift. If they didn't make, if they didn't like maybe process certain things, I guess to the way that their consciousness would have preferred, or that would have brought them into some alignment, then the next gate that would approach would cause another set of purging. So I was kind of, tuning into that awareness of what was going on, and I figured, okay, there's something to this. So what I noticed, and if you check out any of my old pictures, I had I had dreadlocks and stuff, right? Dreadlocks, and I used to wear like a ton of crystals around my hand and stuff. And I around October 2019, I saw the gate actually shift or jump from one point to another, and the Stargate or approaching the Stargate, I literally saw like the road actually buckle up like a carpet. Mm-hmm. And I think some stuff was going on back then, I think in the collective, but it also occurred within my immediate reality. And I started to I got intuitive knowings that I need to do like a particular cleanse or purge. Also like a physical shedding, so like cutting my hair and stuff. And in the perspective of the Rainbow Bridge, I literally saw a bag, like a huge bag. My energy body like dropped a huge load, and the road broke behind me, right? Showing me that there was no turning back. Like after this, like this is the choice that you make going forward. And it's pretty interesting. Everything started to accelerate from there. So then you're going into 2020, with everything that went on during that time, aspects of it still clearing out through the collective right now as well. I think in 2020, the whole perspective started to change, where I saw a perspective of like two timelines shifting. So like a train, two trains actually, or two track lines, two timelines, shifting, where one was above and one was painted in red and was a much longer road or timeline track, right? Whereas the other one was essentially like 2-point portals. So one portal, and then it would basically skip like a time frame. And then there's another portal that would appear right here. And across into that portal was a much lighter frequency, one of freedom, sovereignty, where everyone honored each other. And so I mean, it's led me to this point right now of actually connecting into a lot of the energies in terms of balancing or assisting others in balancing their energetic capabilities, to tune into their unique path, connecting into the crystalline consciousness. So
yeah, that's really the work, right? It's like everybody has to do those same choices to go through those portals, to take all of the collective. The collective has to go there.
Yeah.
And it's one person at a time, right?
It starts with
do the work.
Yep. It starts with with the individual. And the more we work on ourselves, we allow for the energy to be more readily available within the collective.
Right.
To make a shift for the choices. Because if you think about it, the whole thing with there's something called morphic resonance, or how they showed you the whole thing with the 100th monkey effect.
100th monkey, yeah.
where what it was, they found like certain monkeys and on a particular island, they learned how to like wash a potato or something, and the others learn how to do it on the island, and then like across like couple miles on another island, monkeys are over there doing, learning to do the same thing.
Once enough of them learned how to do it, then other ones like a geographical distance away just knew how to do it.
Because we're connected to the magnetic field, and also when you what do you call it, quantum entanglement.
Yeah,
we're all connected. Because we're all one.
It kind of uploads into the collective consciousness of that species, and then they all kind of can access it easier once the first 100 or so, or it's like really the first one. Once one person can do it, everybody can do it, because now it's a thing, right? Now it's in the consciousness that it can be that way. And that's kind of where we're at now. That's 2020 was like this massive up leveling of the collective, and them going through the collective dark night of the soul.
Yep. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it. Let's share a little bit before we get into like all the good juicy what's coming down the portal pipeline. Let's talk a little bit about what the heck is an equinox, right? That might help shine some light on why it matters so much. Like the vernal equinox is a spring equinox. And it's when it's different for North and South America, but for North America, it's when the sun crosses the equator of the earth heading north in the sky. And there's an even amount of daylight and darkness. So it's depending on where you are on the globe, the actual even amount of daylight and darkness will be a different day, but in general for the earth, it's considered when it crosses that equator line. So the consensus is like March 20th. But like I noticed 3 days ago, it was the closest to being like the exact sunset, or the sunset was exact with the sunrise. So and I read somewhere that it does tend to push in like that too, like because of the refractory, the way light refracts around the globe, like you'll get it pushed in it a few days early than the exact thing. So that's kind of important to know. But the consensus day is March 20th this year. What else do I want to say about that? It's due, like the seasons are due to the Earth's tilt, that kind of thing. I have some graphics. Let's share pictures so it's there for posterity. Let's see. That'll make it a little easier. Wait, go back. There we go. Okay, I got them all. All right. So that's a picture of the sun shining, and it's like it's even on the equator kind of thing, because the earth is usually tilted at 23 degrees to an angle. So it's at the point where the sun is like coming straight at the earth kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
And you see the equator versus the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, which that is significant because what the sun does in the sky, I don't know if I saved that picture. I didn't.
Is it 23 degrees?
23.4 degrees. Yes, that's the tilt of the Earth.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I've been checking up on. I think in that is in Voyager's book by Ashiana Dean. They actually explain based on the guardian perspective, because she connects these beings, a collective called the guardian races. So they're like Christos. Well, yeah, beings that connect to the divine Christos part of the universe, who would have also like seeded humanity in the higher realms, or the higher dimensional aspect of Earth, which would be known as Tara. And they were explaining the whole history of how the Earth got into the whole tilt, where it actually like knocked its original blueprint offline.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and so now it's kind of like starting to go back into.
So this is a whole healing process. That's what all this is.
And it took millions of years.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's an interesting little nugget we can go down. This is like the last one that I'll share. And
so that's interesting.
Yeah. This is like the equinox is the center one. So if you can think about this over the period of a year, what the sun is doing, sun makes a sine wave. So it's these arcs, right? Mm-hmm. So it's looping between the winter solstice through the center of the equinox. There's two equinoxes, right? They're both at the same point. The spring and the autumn equinox are both at the same point, that center point. And then it rotates up to the top. The spring equinox, the summer solstice. I got spring equinox on the brain. It goes up to this. So it's making this figure 8 in the sky with a sine wave. And guess what the equinoxes are, guys? It's that center point where it crosses over, like in the infinity sign. It's where it crosses in the center. So it's highly significant because it's like the reset point.
So that's 0 point, kind of.
It's 0 point.
Yeah.
And that's where we get into we can blend into the metaphysics of it, because the metaphysics of it, it's that crossover point. It's equal light and dark. I mean, equinox is equal night, right? Even amounts of day and night. And it's like, we're talking about soul and shadow. We're talking about masculine and feminine. And an equinox is this point twice a year, every year, where you have the opportunity to balance some aspect of your psyche. So that's how that astronomy plays into your experience, like all these waves of things coming. Not to mention that the sun right now, is in Pisces. That's another little fun nugget that, I'll be doing a chat on Instagram about.
So is a direct.
Precession of the equinoxes. We're not in the age of Aquarius, because you measure what age you're in by what astronomical sign the sun is rising in on the vernal equinox, and it's rising in Pisces. I actually did some math because I wanted to know. Precession of the sun moves 1 degree, it takes 72 years to move 1 degree. We have 7 degrees left in Pisces because the precession moves backwards through the zodiac. So we've already been through most of Pisces. 7 degrees left in Pisces times 72 years is 500 years. We still have 500 years in the age of Pisces. Sorry, everyone thinks we're in the age of Aquarius. We're in the age of Pisces. We're coming out the backside of it. This is the dark night of the soul period where we're like rebirthing ourselves into the age of spirituality, true spirituality, right?
I think in Keylontic science they talk about I said that the I think in 2023 we going through a shield split, which is like a yeah, is well what some people call it bifurcation. So we're going through the first layer of it. So that's
2023.
why, yeah, so that's why I think you're seeing like an acceleration of like the the control systems and trying to like um basically like people you're seeing people like literally like the world like split in the middle.
Yeah.
Where one side of people wish to be free and sovereign and um demanding like the because I mean so many people now know that there's so much free tech, not like free energy, quote unquote free energy devices and stuff. I mean hundreds of different ways to do it too. And and then you have like the other side of the perspective that um I guess one like isn't seeing that need to be free or sovereign and choose to still continue to like perpetuate the old paradigm and live in that experience for a little longer. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I really see it as waves of people too. It's like if everybody woke up,
mhm.
it would be chaos. It would
Yeah.
maybe be, it might be okay, but it would be like everything would fall apart too fast, and the people who weren't ready wouldn't
Yeah,
be able.
it would be a lot. It would be a lot
Yeah,
because it
a
is
lot.
a lot of
So I mean, I know certain people who I know in this lifetime will not ever, they're not ready to wake up. And I just remember because of my experiences, I'm like, everybody is exactly where they're supposed to be. They're having exactly the experience they're supposed to be. Guess what? They're one of those waves in the future that wakes up to like
yeah.
surf it in a different period. Like they're the backup kind of, it's like they're
Right.
coming in after
Yeah,
the.
it's different waves would would come in. Well, in this time you could see it though, like different people are waking up at different specific times, especially now. Like I know some people who yeah, like who last year or maybe back in 2019 they knew nothing about energy, nothing
Yeah.
about like, our our history beyond Earth or within the stars, um, nothing of that sort. And now they're like within a span of like maybe like 4 months or so, they just clicking. They they
Yeah.
deep diving because
Connect stuff,
everybody
getting
home
downloads.
and stuff, so they get a chance to do research finally and check out stuff. And like a week later they're messaging me every week, messaging me, hey, do you know about this or that? And they're sending me all these videos that maybe I would have watched like maybe like 7 years ago or so.
Yeah, you're like,
um
yeah, I'm good.
but I mean it's pretty interesting to like revisit it too.
Yeah.
And just kind of like see where it all links up from even back then. And it's quite fascinating actually
And
being able to
sometimes
like
and
watch
sometimes you see things that you didn't see the
that you
first time
didn't
around.
see before. Yeah, exactly. Because my first introduction to at least the extraterrestrial stuff was Alex Collier's video talking about the Andromedans, his 1994 video interview. I think that's a whole 3 hours long. I sit down and watch the entire thing, and he talked about all of what's going on now. And I
Yeah.
was like, yo, like I hope I'm gonna be alive to see this change and get to witness the transformation and be able to
Dude,
like
you
feel it
came
in my
here for
body.
this. Kidding?
Yeah. Right.
Awesome.
So so it's really amazing to actually be able to like live through it and witness it now. Feel the energy changes within the body, feel the potential of where we are moving to. Based on the quantum physics, we all exist in different realities simultaneously. So it's really a personal choice as much as it is a collective choice, to where we actually move from here, moving forward. Like, where do we go?
Yeah, it's all about stepping into your sovereignty. Dude, I've heard so many stories in the last week, in 1 week, about people having experiences with like light armor being put on and like crowned. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, you're talking about sovereignty. You're talking about soul sovereignty. And like, so it's out there. It's coming up. It's wild. I'm like, it makes sense to me, but like, I don't know if those people are hearing multiple stories in the same way. And it's just like, oh, it's happening. That's awesome. What do you think, Jacob? Should we talk a little bit about maybe how Jerome is seeing these energies come in, and then talk about how, like, what the experiences of that would be? Like, maybe by then we'll be about ready to like open it up to the floor too.
Sure. Or if you'd like to go for how it's coming up for you recently. Did you already say that with the dreams? And did you tell them about your dream, or was that last one?
That was yesterday on Instagram. I kind of feel like let's see what Jerome is seeing, like sort of a collective overview, like how he's seeing the energies coming in, and then we can all share, like Jerome too, we can share like how we're personally experiencing them, and like I'll share some of my dreams. Ooh. Jacob, you can share what you're experiencing, and that would be awesome. And then we can sort of like flow right into anybody that wants to jump on and share.
Go for it.
Awesome. All right. So yesterday. Yeah, I think yesterday I would have posted a video on my channel talking about I was talking about a portal that I was seeing, that I noticed actually approaching and I think we would have talked about it as well too, right? Massive portal approaching. And I was saying that it's the largest that I've seen, like since having that perspective of the energies coming in. The energies are really coming from within us too, right? So I see them coming as waves. So they basically, if you can imagine, man, if I have my whiteboard here, but if you imagine like a bridge and then Stargate approaching, usually the gate slides, or like a ring slides on the bridge, so it approaches and it passes like a timeline kind of thing. This one is very, very big, because before some of them would look like really small. Some of them would have like a ring and then another ring, a smaller ring, so like you could choose which one you want to exist in, if you want to downsize or make yourself really large. It kind of like Alice in Wonderland, where she eats the thing and grow big to go in the keyhole, grow small to go in the keyhole, or grow big to get the item on the table, stuff like that. But how it manifests physically and also psychologically, mentally, emotionally, is really and truly our own internal processing of stuff that we would have been working on for maybe lifetimes, even, that present itself in our lives. What I noticed with the Stargate that is approaching now, let me see, it's actually a lot closer now. I find the energy is picking up. So you also sent me that the thing with the sun cycle and stuff.
Yeah, it's a girl in the universe on Instagram. Right. She posts like the geomagnetic stuff of the earth, and there's like waves, like you can
Right.
see the geomagnetic shield around the earth is in here, and they're going around and looping back and like getting back, the earth is getting backwashed with these things because it's like spiraling like that. So
Right.
yeah.
So I usually I try, well, when I am actually tuning into the Rainbow Bridge and seeing the stargates and stuff, I try to like just like follow what I'm seeing, and then after I actually, when I look at like space weather, it would kind of confirm it all the time. So yeah, it seems like the energy in itself is bringing a cleansing, a deeper cleansing to the collective emotional bodies, the mental as well too. It's also allowing for I think in the Voyagers they call it like a holographic. They call it the holographic beam. So back in, that was the winter solstice. A lot of that energy would have allowed for a higher density of light to exist within the realm. That density of light would also, it's kind of like if you have more Play-Doh, you have more energy to play with, basically, to create with, right? More love light, and you're actually able to, through your own feelings and emotions, through your thoughts, able to create or manifest the reality a lot faster. So it works in both ways, both positive, and it can also work in the perceivable negative as well.
Well, it brings the negative, it percolates up to be seen, so it can stop running. So yes, it is both. It is both.
Yeah. Right. So that's why you're seeing like a lot of the, like a parallel overlay. It seems like if it's on one side, like the more it's like more conscious one side becomes, it's like the further away the other side goes.
Yeah.
Right. And you see people just dive in deep, like head first into I call it the land of Nod. Right. Or yeah. And yeah, it's for some people have been telling me that it's scary, or like just actually seeing like certain, like their family members and stuff just completely like they just completely shut down, like they don't want to know anything about truth, like or that perspective, like they just want to go back into, like, I guess they just want to get back to normal, but normal is
want it to be the way it was, and it's like time to grow. It's literally grow. I love to look at this, Jerome. Like the best reference I have for people that's not a war type, because like I hear so many people talking about this is spiritual warfare and we must battle the darkness, and it's never about that. Light and dark are both from source. Okay, it's just one's a protagonist, and it helps the other one to grow, and they do this dance. Look at how the earth moves through the universe, and
it's like
all these things. But I love to use the visual of cymatics, and it's literally like sand on a plate being vibrated at a frequency, and you turn the dial up, you turn the frequency up as it's shifting from one solid vibration to the next. By solid, I mean like one whole tone to the next tone. The plate goes through this chaos as it reorganizes, and as it hits that next higher octave, it forms the form. And it's like, that's what we're going through. It's a very natural process. It's not a spiritual battle. It's just growth. It's just growth. And growth can be challenging, but that's why it's growth.
Yeah, it could be scary for people, but and change. I mean, change is never really like it's it brings uncomfortable it's never easy at times, especially if you're like holding on to like the old Yeah, and I would have had dreams about this a couple times back, and yeah, it's surreal to see it like playing out in the in the physical, in the realm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
How is
is
it playing out
very
for you, Jerome? Like, let's get into this on a individual perspective. Like, how
okay.
are you
So
experiencing the waves that are pushing it? Because what I'm understanding is like you're seeing the collective energy, you're seeing the
right,
universal energy like coming in from a
right.
third eye perspective. So,
So
how do you
so from
experience that as a 3D being? Like, what are you experiencing?
okay, so for me, maybe I would say about maybe a month ago I was going through a lot of like ins and outs. So like frustrations or like like wondering like why people not seeing it. Like it's just it's really clear, and like my perspective at times was like, like it's wild how like you seeing it like again like um if you choose to see it in that perspective for a bit, like it's like like you're actually witnessing some people like they're not waking up and they're like, oh my goodness, I barely got out of the belly of the beast. The beast was about to close its mouth. I just got out. You get what I mean? And then you got some other people like, come on in, man. It's like it's
The
warm in
water's
here.
fine.
It's warm in here. They're not seeing, the whole thing just like coming down on top of the heads and stuff. And like it was bringing like some like level of like frustration for me. And like at times like I would feel like, man, let me just share some stuff on my Instagram and stuff like that. I still do it from time to time, but after a while I had to take a little break from it, and I
Yeah.
started to like put more of my time into like learning about plasma technology, and creating cold plasma, like cold plasma water, to kind of like boost my own growth and development, through like fueling my physical body, looking into like a lot of like breath work and learning more about
Oh,
that.
yeah. That's a good
Right.
way to upgrade like all that chakra
Yeah,
pillar
listen,
stuff,
I only
body
know,
tech.
I'm only not like, I gotta tell people like I have these like a spiritual technician type of perspective and stuff like that, the technical stuff. And like I have the perspective when I in the, you know and I do my energy work and stuff. I see, a HUD, a GI HUD pop up, and I could like, press
Like
stuff
a
and it would change
yeah,
things.
like a
Right,
readout on a spaceship.
right, right.
Yeah.
And
Would
by the
you
see, yeah.
would you be interested, would you be interested in like having him like do a diagnostic, like just do a body scan and do it how
You're
you
putting
do
me on the
it?
spot.
Would you be interested in that, Jacob? Like it's totally fascinating. You don't have to if you don't want to. I just think it would be fascinating for people to see like
Right.
how you talk through it. And it's literally like you're on freaking Star Trek and you're like, okay, I'm talking to the computer, and it's really cool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be open to it.
Why not? Go for it. What do I
All
need to
right.
do?
Yeah,
Anything.
just where you are right now. Right. So how I actually yeah, as Janine was saying, like I I can talk through it. I can perceive it. Sometimes I feel it, hear it. Okay, so what I'm gonna just do is just a basic diagnostic, and a calibration of your um yeah, your your energy systems, your chakras. All right, so run a diagnostics on the bioenergetic system. All right, so you're gonna feel, you might feel some shifts. All right, so scan the mental body, balance mental body. All right, so I was feeling some shifts in the mental body. And then I'm being directed to the base of your feet. All right, so what I'm going to do is activate a platform on the base of your feet, and allow for plasmic frequencies, plasmic light to surround your body. So as I'm doing that, I'm going to balance, just begin the process of balancing your central system, your chakra system. Balance chakra system. So it's just a light overlay, just to assist you with a bit of the energy that may be coming in. Right, and allow that to move through your cells, for the energy to interact with your cells. And we're going to allow this to communicate, yeah, to reinforce the biofeedback system with Earth's crystalline core. Right, and then that's going to allow for your cells, the magnetic field of your cells, to communicate with the magnetic field of the Earth in a more harmonious way. So this will also then link up into your auric field as well. All right. So you may feel a sense of like feeling expanded. All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Could you feel anything?
Welcome.
Got some shivers. And my fairies were freaking out. Not freaking out, they were just making noises.
I feel like when you started moving energy to him, it's like I could feel it too. I'm like, okay, it's just he's just raking everybody. So everybody got a little Reiki right there. Quantum healing everybody a little bit. Living broadcast, right?
So what I do is I connect into because I work with the 12, if you're familiar with the 12-tree crystalline grid, which is the crystalline template of the original inner crystals frequencies.
What are those?
So those, well, let me see if I can pull up, but I will pull up some information here to give a better description. But from my perspective, it is a frequency known as a Kristallara, or the Christ, right? Which is a KRYST. So that those frequencies are connected into the plasmic light, which is, I guess you could call it like self-aware plasma, which you would hear about in Star Wars, as they call it, the Force. So when they say the Force be with you, right? So that a lot of this has a lot of history in terms of a lot of what the matrix is. If you would have heard about like the black cube matrix and stuff like that, the original template was something different, which would be the template of what crystals actually follow. Their geometry is slightly different to what we deal with as a carbon-based life form. We originally, we're meant to move into a silicate or a crystalline structure.
Yeah.
So a lot of these
crystalline. There's a really good video I have on my Inner Sky Alchemy page that says, "What is a crystal?" And it's like everybody thinks a crystal is like one of these things. A crystal is a pattern that repeats. It's organized, whatever, organized thought.
So it's like a fractal.
It's organized.
Yeah.
There's intelligence.
Yeah. So it's a different code, completely different code from certain codes that would be running around in the matrix, universal matrix, right?
So like, for example, would be like the black cube is like the hacked system, or the suppressed system. It's not the natural system. Like the hyperdimensional cubes, like Metatron's cube, those are like more organic and natural.
Yeah, and then they're much higher geometries connected into like what they call Trivaca codes, tri-wave system, which actually moves out of the pattern of the Metatron cube.
Interesting.
Moving into like a higher gestalt of consciousness. What the Keylontic science teachings actually go into explaining that they are the actual true ascended, who you consider be true ascended masters. Those who have ascended outside of the universal universal matrix. So that's going past like dimensions 13, 14, 15. In those ranges of frequencies, those beings would look like symbol codes. They wouldn't have a particular form to us, like in this realm perceived. They would just look like light language.
Full circle. That's fascinating, and that's a very right brain thing. It's a very soul oriented thing.
Right. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting in terms of the energetics of it, and having the connection or intending for the connection, of connecting into the crystalline energies. And it brings a different type of healing, even like the plasma, the whole thing with the plasma activated water, or the GANs. But when you look at the geometries of those, through the magnetic frequencies and stuff on their website, I think is Cash Foundation Wiki. Like you're looking at the same or similar geometries to the 12 sphere consciousness, where they talk about the 12. So like the 12 system would show like the geometry of humans even used to have like 6 fingers on one hand instead of 5, which is the 10 system, where you deal with like the we always call it the Kabbalah tree of life, right? Which is I guess it would be like a half truth, or like it goes to a certain degree, but it doesn't go to the full thing, if you get what I mean. Which is the same thing as what happens with crystals, where they, from what I understand, they have a different geometry that is not that's slightly different from what is known as the Fibonacci.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you got like stuff like this, right? Or this that has different geometries, but quartz has a very similar frequency in the DNA pattern to ours. Right? Yeah. So we have similar technology to this. Can store a lot of information. We're able to exist in multiple dimensions at once.
Right.
Going into, like, you look at like stuff with what the monks are able to do. Some of those Tibetan monks, they're sure that that's just like scratching the surface.
Yeah, I've been getting into like the 13 system though, like the base 12 system is kind of like
they're higher
control timelines. Yeah,
they are higher. They are much higher. Much very very far more advanced timelines. The 12 is just the beginning. But it's to really, like, for people to understand that, like, the 10, because a lot of the systems still stuck in the 10. Yeah. So because there are a couple like mystery schools that's still into the 10.
Yeah, but like I always look back to nature, and it's like I've been starting to get into the Mayan astrology with my friend Navier that we do IG lives with, and it's like that's a 13 base 13 system. So what, 1320, and there's 13 moon cycles, and there's 13 constellations that the ecliptic passes through. It's like 13 is the number of the goddess, like the divine feminine, and it's why it's been so bastardized and demonized over time. Like buildings don't even have a 13th floor, it's a mechanical floor, because that's like a metaphorical slam against the divine feminine. Like, we're not even gonna let you walk on that floor. No. So yeah, no, I've been getting into that and like looking into like more natural cycles, and you will find those sort of conscious connections with things like all those metaphysical things just by following natural cycles. So that's awesome.
Because the reality is, as the reality changes out of the bi-wave system, you're gonna start to see like different formations of animals and stuff like that. The cycle maybe like new species
popping in.
Yeah. You're gonna see like different because the magnetic fields and stuff are changing right now. So you're gonna deal with like a different sun, a different type of energy coming from the sun. Your energies in your body gonna, connect, and as it connects into that, you're gonna feel different as well.
And that's where we can tie it into like experiential things, right? Because like with your environment, like if we look at the planet as a fishbowl, like if our environment is shifting that radically, like what are we going to start experiencing? Like, Jacob, do you want to share some of the things that like you're experiencing as we're pushing into this equinox rainbow bridge portal?
Yeah,
I love that imagery too, because it's so what it is.
It's something.
What's life been like for you, buddy?
Well, I went through a good period of psychosis in dealing with all of these fears and worries that I had built up over a while, and synchronicities that bothered me. And it's been taking some getting used to with the shifts coming in and me letting down my guard to allow those to flow through, and then deal with the after effects if I'm not ready completely, mentally for it. Which really, I mean, when are you ever truly ready? Just jump right in. So That's how it's been for me, is I've been jumping into a lot of uncomfortable situations or uncomfortable emotions, and just a lot of the density I've been feeling in this week. Like I've almost been going backwards in a sense, not from a judgmental point of view, just in what I've been feeling to what's been coming up. And what's been coming up has been a lot of negativity, a lot of anger, frustration, and it's only there for me to look at. And really, I'm just thankful because I'm going more into observer mode. Being the observer has been my saving grace, because I haven't been attaching myself to my reality as much, and I'm not holding any expectation for the outcome of what it's coming to me. You know, like a meteor could come tomorrow and
look at that. That's worst case scenario talking.
There you go.
And maybe that's when Jerome scanned you. Maybe like he's guided to the feet because there needed to be some grounding or something, you know, like you're up here swimming around in all these thoughts that keep coming in, and it's like, get your feet on the earth, get grounded, do breath work. Yeah, like maybe
I've been
that's
doing that for years, swimming up in the mental scape. So
I was it was I was sensing that's where I started with the balancing of the mental body.
Right. He saw that straight off the bat. I love it.
I was seeing it was seeming like a little like there were some like I guess like distortions a bit, but it felt it in the solar plexus area too.
Willpower.
Yeah,
I knew you were going right for that one. That's awesome.
He's like, yep.
Yeah.
So
but why did
solar plexus like source of identity as well? Like
I was talking about it earlier today with one of my spiritual helpers as well. So it's synchronicity Wednesday. I'm loving it.
So it's clearing out though. It's clearing out. I guess there are certain aspects where you might be maybe given away power, maybe to particular situations and stuff. It was feeling like a bit of the energy was kind of like seeping out from the left side of your solar plexus area, so I feel like a pulling a little bit.
I've been having trouble on that side for a while.
Right. So like it feel like
symptom.
Like you feel like
what do you suggest for moving through that?
Let me see.
I've tried consciously guiding, but I haven't had much luck. It hasn't been hurting as much recently though.
Well, what symptoms are you getting? It cross over into the physical?
Pressure or a feeling like an aching.
Right. Is this something that you when you feel it, do you tend to like your train of thought tends to go a particular place?
Yes.
Right.
Fix it. You know, it's like, you know, it turns into more of a negative, like a lacking mindset. You know, I'm feeling this unevenness. I need to balance it out.
Right. Yeah, I used to get a bit of that when see, especially like when I was dealing with like my own like maybe even like self-worth or like abundance and stuff like that. You would get like a kind of like I feel like I know because I got student loans, right? And like well, only one, but I would feel when like there's something coming up, like a test coming up about that, right? And me processing it and feeling into it and coming into my own power and stuff like that. I would get this like this jabbing going on in my spleen area, right where I felt it coming from you. Like it felt like a planal like right here, like just under the ribs, and it felt like it was like a heaviness like right below the heart, but like it was like on this side, on the left side, and it was doing this like arcing, right? And so, well, the physical part of it, if you monitor yourself and you notice that you're having any digestion problems and stuff, you could do certain things to work with that, just to like clear that up a bit. Some people use like psyllium.
Fasting helps.
Right, yeah. So so while you're doing that, you can even like try psyllium. Well, I noticed that like psyllium husk, and maybe like water fasting had helped me a good bit. Just
is
to, like,
it specifically spleen? Is it spleen, stomach? Because the left ribs hold energy points. I do Chine
right,
saying
you would have
massage. So there is a spleen point, there's a stomach point, and there's also a lung point. Oh, and there's a triple warmer point on that left side under the ribs. So it could be all of those. It could be one of those. It could be a couple of those. But if it's specifically spleen or pancreas, it's usually like intense worrying, fretting, those kinds of things, anxiety. That's what clogs that energy center up on that side of the body.
Right. So like warming.
Recently, it's just getting much better.
Right. So like even like warming stuff like harataki, using harataki is a great that's a great Ayurvedic herb to actually incorporate for anybody, because it actually increases the oxygen within the brain. I think they say by like 300%.
Nice.
So and then the process of doing that. What's the process of going through that?
Harataki. Well, it's a herb, so you could actually like get it as a bitter herb.
Okay.
That you could, yeah. I mean, you could find it. You could type it in and find it on Etsy for sure. You would be able to get it. Most stores should carry it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say any really good health food store will probably have it.
Yeah, like, but on the mental side of it, or the spiritual side, what you can do is just tune into your I would tune into the solar plexus area, and when you're like during meditation or so, just feel it out. I right now feeling it a bit.
Yep. I recommend the same thing. Get in there and do some abdominal massage. If it hurts
do some
or is tight, you got stuff stuck there energetically.
Do some deep breathing, and what I do is I tune into the correspondence of the solar plexus, which is the mental body. So I see it as like surrounding because that's connected to the emotional body as well too. I see it surrounding the physical body. And so what I do is I tune into the solar plexus, and then I also at the same time tune into the mental body simultaneously. And I feel my solar plexus, and I also feel the mental body at the same time. For you, I feeling like seeing like well, with that feeling there in the solar plexus on the left side of the mental body, there is like a pushing, like a pushing on that side, almost like if it's like a mental pressure. Maybe like feeling like obligated, like you got obligations to do something or make a particular choice, or
you know what? If I had to distill it down to one of the soul wounds, I would say it would be like the masculine side of humiliation, like performance anxiety. Kind of what it sounds like. Of all the wounds, that's one that sort of sounds like.
Yeah. But that's what I whispered to myself when I was thinking about it just now.
Let's go ahead and open the floor up to anybody. I know Kate's here. She probably wants to join the chat. Let's welcome Kate. And if there's anybody in the waiting room, see if they want to come on in, and we'll just continue our discussion. And anybody that has any experiences to share, like how they're experiencing this upcoming portal vibe that we're surfing in, we welcome all those things. Hi, Kate. Welcome.
Hi.
So good
Hey.
to have you.
Yeah.
Kate, Jerome, Kate.
Hi.
Hello.
I was on a dream
Hey.
call with you once. I think with
Oh yeah.
That's right. That's right. The Dream Lab. We're all
Yeah.
connected. Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm glad I finally caught this live because I watched your other shows and there were so many points that you guys were talking about that I was like, oh, I want to comment on that.
Yay. Yeah, jump on in. Like, how are you surfing in these equinox vibes? Because I don't know. I'm feeling them. Like, I'm having dreams out the wazoo and just moving through inner work like lightning. How is it coming through for you?
So I just entered some new phase of my life where I have to take a look at the choices I've made, especially career-wise, and start to do things differently if I am not feeling those choices, which I'm not. I just ended a contract recently and was like so happy. It ended early. They found a permanent person and so they canceled it. And I was like, yay. And so I'm feeling really good lately. And I'm moving forward with some very new plans for how I can kind of change my career path. So yeah, that's been really good.
Like, you're literally like, let's just make this easy. The things that need to go away are going away. So the new things can come in and you're like right there on top of it. That's amazing. Love that.
Yeah. So yeah.
How's the dream life?
I was just gonna comment on that. It's like, okay, I do remember some dreams. I had a really crazy one that happened. I definitely wrote it down, but I don't remember exactly when it was. It was like probably in February. And what I remember of it was I was there on some kind of magical mission with a group of people. And I didn't really know these people, although I think my boyfriend was one of them, but I don't remember clearly. And at one point we were up on top of a pyramid, like one that you would see in Mexico or Guatemala. And there was a woman there.
Like a Mayan or Aztec? Oh, for crying out loud. Jerome,
and there was a woman there who had this long, light, violet, kind of lavender dress. And so this is the really weird part of it, was there was like red water or maybe blood, but more like water really. And it was like running back to the pyramid and kind of like running up into tendrils coming down from her dress. It's very strange. So that was a cool one.
Amazing, girl. You need to bring that to the Dream Lab. There's a lot to unpack there. That is awesome. Purple dress. Can you say crown chakra? Red is root, or if red and water, if it's like, it could be like birthing things. Pyramids. Good Lord, I've had so many synchros like Tulum, Mexico, and like Mayan pyramids, and I'm just like starting to figure out sort of what the soul mission is. And there's all these things coming up about Mayans, and then I learned that Mayans are literally like from the Pleiades. There's actually a star in there called Maya. I'm like, of course there is.
Oh.
So maybe we're soul fam. I'm sure we are. I'm sure we're all soul fam that's here.
That's kind of how I feel about it, because listening to you guys talk on the earlier episodes, I'm just like, wow, yeah, I want to join this conversation. Because so exactly.
Okay, other two of you guys, anybody dreaming of pyramids? Because I'll pass out right here. Pyramids, any Mayan pyramids?
Not that I know of. No, not yet. Well, I have I guess a lot of my dreams are more like processing certain things. I do get some precognizant some precog dreams from time to time though, but it's pretty in and out because I gotta regulate my sleep my sleep hours.
You got to have good sleep hygiene. I mean, I have terrible sleep hygiene, but I've been practicing dream work for over 10 years. So since 2017, the skill has improved because there's so much information that comes to me through my dreams. But yeah. That's cool. I love the processing dreams because it's literally like news updates from your body. Body's like, here's what you've processed out of your psyche, and all the stuck emotions that are lodged in your acupuncture meridians and your organs, and here's where we're at. I get the precog dreams too, and I feel like time comes in chunks. It's like the part of you that is connected to all that is knows this certain block of time before there's some decision point here where you can change tracks kind of thing. But like I'll get a precog dream and I won't even realize really it's precog. Sometimes I will because they seem so, they're just so vibrant. They're like, whoa, that one was a weird one or something. Or, it's like I'll wake up and I'll remember it very clearly. There's always something about them, but sometimes they're not too obvious. And as I'm moving through the next few days, I'll remember that and I'll be like, that one was telling me that we're getting ready to move through this certain amount of work in this certain amount of time. And then I'll get all the synchros in real life. Like for that, there was an alignment with a star called Fomalhaut. And it was, I think it was during Mercury retrograde. I can't remember exactly. It was probably about 3 weeks ago now. But I went through 2 weeks of intense synchronicity like I did for Lionsgate last year. And literally at the beginning of those synchros, I was kind of like informed that it's like, you're going to do this for 2 weeks. This is going to happen for I got a synchro that was like fortnight. And I'm like, okay, 2 weeks. And sure enough, like 2 weeks to the day, done. Like after, like it was started on a Saturday, 2 weeks from there, it was like everything sort of shifted back to normal. All the synchros sort of chilled out and all the processing slowed down. So like, that's how me and universe roll now. It's like, I get the call. It's like, you're going to do some work. You're going to shift some quantum stuff. And then you get a little break. And it's like, I got about, what day was it that we were talking about this, Jacob? Like maybe yesterday. I think it was yesterday on the IG Live, and I was like, y'all, like the day before, I got like 10 triple-digit number synchros, like 10 of them in 2 hours. And I'm like, oh shit, stuff's getting ready to go down for this equinox. I'm like, I just got the ding, 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 get ready. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I hear you. So and my dreams have been wild. My dreams have been like, I'm moving through the last layers of the blockages in the body, like the energy blockages, before you meet your inner child, right? Before you are like, you meet that whole, that aspect of yourself, you can embody more of your soul energy and you meet your inner child, and there's nothing running over it, masking it. Like there's no more layers of woundings over it. So it's like, it gets a little, because I'm very conscious that I'm moving through it, it gets a little intimidating. It's like, I'm there. I'm like at the end of the rainbow on the rainbow bridge. I'm getting ready to go astral, and it gets a little scary. But I'm still running. When it actually happens, it won't be scary at all. I know that, but there's still something running that's like, ooh, I'm nervous. Why am I nervous?
Yeah. So I was curious to hear everybody's like, was your perspective on, well, when you're in the dream, if you see through like your eyes, or you see like third person, some people see in black and white. Some people have dreams and they don't hear anything, or some people actually don't see anything, they just hear stuff.
That's funny that you bring up black and white. My grandfather only dreams in black and white.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I personally, it goes through all of them. I'll go into God mode perspective, watching myself. Recently, that's how the dreams have been, is in third person. And it's very rare that I'm in first person perspective, where I'm
really,
I'm the
me too.
I'm
Yeah,
always
Mine's
I get.
watching this little guy
50.
open
You
mouth.
know what I've
Yeah.
learned from doing mine is
Mm.
like when you are looking at it third person, it's because that's what feels safe. Like it doesn't feel safe to be in that person seeing that experience from that character.
Man, it'd
And that's
be
why the dream brings characters too.
it'd
But like
be
if it's
be
you
everything.
watching you from third person, it's because you're dissociated from that aspect of yourself, and there's a fear thing, or there's
Yeah, possibly. I end up seeing like how it would be everything, like the cop or like the it just overlaying on everything. So like as you call it, like God mode, like it'd be
yeah.
like it'd be like the like it looks like a movie and it
Yeah.
plays out. You see yourself and like other people, and you can actually like change perspectives of like
Yes.
everything. So if you wanted to like see the movie from the view of the wall, you could like be the wall, or like be the lamp, or look through this person's eyes, or look through, be
You
a
can do that
follicle
in
of
your body
hair.
too.
Yeah, for sure.
You can like go experience what it's like to be in your toe. You can move your consciousness like that. If you're any good at, or if not, that's not the right phrase. If you ever practice like astral projecting or just moving your consciousness through your body, like there are people who are good at like astral projecting that can like be in their knee. They can see the world from their knee. It's hard to hold it, but I've heard of that. I've
Yeah,
never
no,
done it.
there's a technique that I learned through the system of the same Keylontic sense, where they call it the astral awake enable, where you can like so like for example, like I could hold my hand like this and I could split my hand into like 6 different hands. That's how I actually like started doing Reiki. Like from the jump, like I started doing Reiki like that. Like I never really used to do the like hands, like laying of the hands and stuff. Like I used to like from like watching a lot of anime, like Naruto and stuff. Like I would like shadow, like clone myself. So like I would like create like 4 versions of me that would like go around the table and do Reiki on the same person, and they would be like, "Hey, are you by my feet?" But I wasn't there. Like I was like by their head or something like that. But they could feel the energy coming from the clone that I created
That's like
doing the work on them.
quadruple locating. That's like bilocating a crack.
Yeah, but I noticed like it comes easy when I actually like allow my imagination to just go wild with it. Yeah, and then sometimes like my mind would try to block it. I guess depending on like what mood I'm in. So it could be then, connected into why sometimes I don't really like remember my dreams much and stuff. But it definitely takes some dedication and practice, as with everything
Yeah, true
to
story.
do. But that's what I actually do in terms of like my energy work, and I'm definitely looking to like get into like teaching people more about how to like utilize that aspect of the So in my sessions, actually, I mean, when we talk, Janine, we actually like go through like certain applications, right? Of yeah. So but yeah, it's definitely our minds actually block a lot of our the programming that we have, depending on what programming we have and what skills we have or had in past lives or future lives, whichever you want to see it, or the DNA template, or what they call the silicate matrix template.
That
We
crystalline
have
temple. Yeah.
right.
Crystalline DNA. Yeah,
We
crystalline.
have certain skill sets that allow us to do certain things. So it comes with particular like, or for example, like you would see like children, like very small children, like 5 years old, and so like they would be able to like do magic really easy, or what we call magic, but it's really them just tapping into their imagination, their magic kingdom.
Yeah.
Um,
Jacob's got one of those in his family.
Yeah.
He's got a magic 5-year-old. Is he 5? Yeah, magic 5-year-old. He does magic.
Yeah. Yep. So it it made me realize, I think maybe like 3 years ago, that we literally live in like I call it the great pretender realm. like you, all you gotta do is like just what we say when we young, make believe.
Yeah, use your right brain, people. Like
Right.
get in that creative flow. That's the
And
timeless
just tap
flow.
in. So like
Yeah.
certain things, like for example, like I started again, like I mean I probably was like a rogue, like my when I started Reiki, like from the jump, like as soon as I started be able to feel energy, I was able to like mold the energy and stuff. So like I used to practice a lot of that, really and truly. So like for example, like if you hold out your hand, I would be able to like create like you could create like an energy ball, but I would also be able to like create it into like a cup, right? Of so
And would
the
you see
energy
that
would,
with your third eye? Like, how would you know you were doing that?
yeah, I would feel it,
Understand.
but I would also, so how how I see with my perspective, my third eye is that um it isn't necessarily like I see like well I see it from the perspective of my inner eye, but with my eyes open, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because I don't really like visualize as well with my eyes closed. I could do it with my eyes open like perfectly, right? Whereas it's the opposite for a lot of people. And
Yeah.
that was because I used to like I guess I used to daydream a lot in school or something. But all of that is astral projection in a way,
Yeah.
projection of the mind into spaces. So certain things like molding, you can mold like energy from your hands, um, duplicate stuff. You could mimic certain things. So I basically apply all of that in terms of my own energy work. I could create items for you in that realm that would actually have applications within the psyche and stuff, or within like um, certain applications when it comes to the energy portals that are coming in, all kind of things,
That's
all
like
kind.
the next level up from, in Reiki, they're like when you make a sigil in the air with whatever, like even with your finger,
You
like in
say
the
Hiki
astral,
and
it's like an
yeah,
energy. It's like that's the next level, like astral boots.
right.
Literally
Because
next level up from that.
the Reiki, well, from what I started to understand now is that those are like call symbols, so they're like a form of like how like language would work.
Yeah.
So in itself, like I mean it's limitless, where you could create your own symbols if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And for like a bit, I actually because I write like language, I speak it to a certain degree as well. um and so like you could create like words that you say, and it would mean something for you because it comes from your soul. So when you say certain things, it would, so I guess that's what like in the ancient times they would call them like magic words or something. um so it triggers certain things within our consciousness, and
Yeah.
it's unique for us all. So it's really being able to tap into it and trusting and believing in yourself.
Yeah. And I have
That's
experienced light language, like it hasn't come out of me for me to be like, I know this is what this thing is, but it does seem like it's very free form and intuitive and flowing, and it's just engaging the right brain to play. It's like just play. And I don't know if that's true because, like I said, I haven't experienced it, but it does seem like that would be a good activator for the right brain. Just
right.
play and see what comes out, and don't worry about the left brain. Just have fun.
Man,
Make
I like
sounds.
I try to like 'cause my left brain tries to like figure out the it wants to know the physics of it all.
Mine
Like,
too.
what's the science of this? And then so like
Yeah,
I mean,
there is
I'm glad
science there though, because it is left in my brain. It is language. It is a language. Like I've had things in dreams. It was like a couple weeks ago where I saw this guy's piece of paper. This guy was in my dream, and it had words that didn't make sense. It was like ooh, roo, to, roo, loo, something with, and I woke up and wrote it down because I remembered seeing it very clearly, and I'm like, that sounds kind of like light language when I say that out loud. I'm like, maybe that's the beginning. Maybe that's how it starts. I don't know. But, you know, the left brain, it doesn't make sense. But maybe to the cosmic part of your right brain, that, you know, universal part of yourself, it makes perfect sense. Maybe it's like an activation order of something, and all I had to do was say it. Like, you just don't know.
Yeah, you just gotta let it, you know, let it out, feel it. What I do is I when I first started, it actually would I would I would hear like my inner voice speaking, but it would speak in like a different language, and it would usually be around like this time now. So this is what, like 12:36. So like around like 2 o'clock. Around those times I would hear like if watino who woot that dit what, like stuff like that, right? And like I like at time I just like allowed it to like kind of like flow through, and it feels like if it flows through the heart, it hits the heart and it comes up. So the first time that started to happen, like a part of me was like fighting it, or like not really allowing it to be expressed, and it would bring like a clearing, because like when it comes up from the heart, it comes into the throat chakra, and then if you have some like stuff that needs to clear, it will come out as tears, right? And then after a while, then it started to come out more and more. And every time when I speak it, or in the beginning when I started speaking, I would feel like a lot like shivers going through your body, and
because the body knows. The body knows.
Waves of this thing. So
yes.
Yeah, but like I said, it comes with practice. It comes with trust in yourself. It's gonna feel well. To me, it felt kind of like, you know, you got that part of your mind that's like, you know, what the F were you saying, man? This makes no sense.
Like, this is gobbledygook. Yeah, your left brain like wants to shut it down.
All right, it's like yeah. So once you get past that, and you know, you just get past the judgment, like the self-judgment, or like what may come out and stuff like that, and just freely allow yourself to express the vibration, the frequency. Then it activates a lot of things. I mean, very, very powerful ways.
Be playful. Like, the experience of it is what's key. Like, if you feel what it does in your body, then it's true. Like, because the body's not going to lie to you. So, and I know, like, I've worked with Jerome. We work a lot, and I know it. I haven't ever done it for myself, but when I hear it, it always does something in the body, because I feel the energy very, I'm very sensitive to like feeling energies move in my body, and I can always feel it doing something. So can't be sure what it is yet, but I'm still clearing things. So we'll see what happens in a few days. That's the other thing I wanted to say too, with these energies surfing in, is yes, it will percolate all the stuff that needs to be seen that you're ready to see. So the not fun stuff will come up, but also like as you move through those things, guys, like body technology is going to turn on, and like that's amazing. Like at whatever level you're ready for. It's not like everybody's going to be like on, but it's like whatever you're ready for, it will activate through this portal in whatever way it needs to activate. So I think that's kind of a happy way to like sort of sum up the equinox. Is like, it's not all going to be bad juju, but there could be things, if there are things that are important for you to activate at the time of the portal, it may seem like you're getting hit with a shitstorm of things. And it's just the universe going, girl, you had a soul contract to clear this. You got to move through it because portal's coming. Get ready to get birthed. So that's a note on the other side too. Like, it won't all be, tough and hard. It's like there are abilities that are going to get activated as you do your work. So, and not everybody will get pinged with it that way at this equinox, but I feel like the group of people that will watch this are probably doing their work. So just a little note. Yeah. And we're talking spiritual technology because we're in Pisces. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what you're saying is a lot of what I'm kind of going through. It's like, I went through some shift recently, and like last year I was very unmotivated to do things, which is not like me. Because I usually just keep myself busy around the house, so COVID doesn't matter. I always am busy doing something. But last year I was kind of like on just an unmotivated place, I guess. And suddenly, yeah, I feel like I have this drive again to follow this path I've set into. And it's my soul mission. That's the other part of it for sure. It's like I'm giving up my career, but it's for me to follow my soul path. So anyway, yeah, I know, isn't that great?
Congratulations. That is, I mean, if that's not a major move, I don't know what is. That takes courage. So bravo.
Yeah.
Yay.
It's going to be okay.
You're going to be just fine. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. So for some of y'all, I'll see you guys in the astral realm because I have a feeling I'm going to start going astral. Like, I should share my dream. It wasn't today's dream, but yesterday's dream. I'm literally like at our local airport. I'm at the end of the runway, which airports have been very significant dream symbol. Airplanes, like 747s in particular. And in the last 2 days, I've got 3 747 synchros. And I'm like, okay, we're ready for takeoff. And the dream that it links back to, the one that I most remember from like the airplane stuff, in my dream journal, I named it President Me, because that's what the dream symbolism was showing me. But now I'm like, oh, we're talking sovereignty, right? We're talking sovereign self. I'm like, okay, President Me, I get it now. And so the dream yesterday was I'm at the end of the runway and there's a guy hang gliding, and I have my blue yoga wedge, which for me, the wedge is a dream symbol, blue is a dream symbol, and what the yoga wedge does, where it goes under your butt, is also like a clue for me as to what wound is still running, which is humiliation. So in the dream, I'm at the end of the runway, and it's like I'm holding this wedge, and it just like takes me off into the air, and I'm like sailing around and having fun on the wind and just like flying around the end of the runway. And then all of a sudden I see this thermal vent, like in the grass, in the ground. It like kind of came up like a little crater. And it was like an under ocean thermal, how you see them just pumping hot air, but it was air. That's significant. I haven't looked into that yet. It was air, which I'm an air sign. Maybe there's something there. And I'm just like, let's go fly over the thermal vent. That should be fun. And I just sail right over there, and it shoots me straight up into the stratosphere. Like, I can see the whole planet. I'm looking down and I'm like, whoa, I'm really high. And I've had a fear of heights all my life. Not all my life, since my 20s, which is that's significant. Everything's significant, but since my 20s, to keep it short. And that it started showing up in the dream space as I was processing through the fear of heights, because it was an overlay, wasn't me. And then with this dream, it's like I'm way up there looking down at the earth, and I'm like, I realized after I woke up, I'm like, there was no vertigo. Like, I wasn't afraid of being up there, but it was just a new way to look at it. I'm like, I've never seen the earth from up here. And I keep wanting to swim down. I'm like, how am I going to get back down to earth? How am I going to get back down? And I'm kind of fretting about it because it's a new place for me to be, like up high. When you think about it, it's like this way through the chakra pillar, because the wedge under the butt is also like, that's what aligns your spine when you sit and meditate, is the yoga wedge. So the yoga wedge is like, the wound that the yoga wedge represents is the thing that's also going to allow the gifts, not the gifts, the abilities to turn on. It's like, that's the thing that I move through that turns everything on. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm up there looking around like, how am I going to get back down to earth? I'm just floating. I'm not falling. I'm not really scared. I'm just like a little concerned that I can't get down. And at the last thing I really remember was like, well, let's turn around and see what it looks like the other way. And I turn around and I'm like back to the earth. My back is facing earth. And I'm looking up into the outer space and it's just black. There, I didn't really even see any stars. And I looked for a second and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Let's turn around and see if we can get back down to earth now. And that's the last thing I remember from that dream. And I'm pretty sure me, the astral me, probably continued on to go have a chat with the galactic council or whatever, right? Like continued on to do work out in the astral while the body went to sleep, consciousness went to sleep. And so that was really exciting for me. I'm like, woo, we getting ready to blast off into astral land. And I know when it happens, it'll be just like that dream. It won't be scary. It'll be like, I'm flying. And then it'll just be something new, like push the envelope a little bit until we get to the comfort zone. And then it'll stop, and it'll be like, okay, next time you're going all the way astral. So you never know, might be meeting somebody up in the astral later. Kate, I'll come to your window and be like, tick, tick, tick. Come out and fly. So that's fun. Yeah. That's been a fun thing for me.
Yeah, it's working, definitely working on the conscious awareness. I think there's a book called Lucid. I think it's Dreaming While Awake is the name of it. That explains like the whole thing with the Australian Aborigines talking about like you blend in like the dream world with this world, and they call it the dreaming.
The dream time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
dream
dreaming,
time.
they call it the dreaming or the dream time.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
And so it links into this reality here actually being the dream, or a part of a dream, or you being able to actually like and when I think about it, that's what the same perspective of the Rainbow Bridge is there too. Because like if I make changes in that perspective, there are changes that happen here. So I have to always be very, very careful or very mindful as to the things that I actually do, because it changes the reality or my perspective of the reality here. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's like Jacob and I were talking the other day about how the guy, he was like, how do the guides always know? They always know exactly what to do. Say the one thing that will nudge you in the direction that you'll have the realization. I'm like, because they're quantum, they're outside of time. They play reality like this quantum piano where they're like, if I touch this string over here, it's going to set this chain of events in motion, or Jacob's going to have the realization maybe 10 days down the road. But he will have realized it with minimal interference. And that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And humans can do that too, which is probably partly why humanity is kind of where it is right now. But it's about responsibility, taking responsibility before you go in and do those things. And that's part of all the inner work, is like, I'm going to be responsible for myself. So when you pop into the astral, you're not just all those wounds and energies don't just pop into the astral when you pop in there if you're running stuff. Because like as soon as like you do that, a lot of people that go astral are like, I see demons, I see scary things. And it's like, because all those energies that you've got in your subconscious project, because time doesn't work the same way there.
That's why like things, because the holographic beam that we've been exposed to from Alcyon cosmic rays and stuff actually is what causing that to actually occur, which is the subconscious mind manifesting a lot faster. So it would be as if we actually in the fourth dimension, basically, physically.
And that's what everybody's saying is like your manifesting power is speeding up. And that's exactly what you're talking about. It's like if you're holding wounds that are unprocessed, it's going to manifest faster only for you to move through it. It's not, life is not trying to beat you up. It's just trying to balance. The only way it can balance is things that are hidden in the shadow. Here we come full circle back to the equinox.
Because
shadow has to be seen and integrated consciously. And it's uncomfortable.
That's how the DNA projects. The frequencies projects the stuff that would be in your manifestation template. But you can actually what's the word, circumvent. You can intercept the manifestations before they actually manifest into the physical reality. The physical reality is well, when it manifests, I guess what you would call quote unquote karma, but the physical manifestation of it is the final station or the final point of you actually walking the karma. But you are able to actually experience the karma and process that energy before it actually reaches the physical manifestation. But a lot of people don't really have those tools, so they end up having to walk the karma. And so I guess depending on how much of that energy template is coming into alignment, then the karma would be it would increase. So but there are ways to
or they'll learn skills to be able to move through it in an alchemical way. Like I know you're talking more about energetic sort of interception.
You could intercept it through the dreams as well.
Yeah, you can do dream alchemy. You can do the inner alchemy like I do, which is conscious. You move, like seriously, last year I got my lucid dreaming totem, like the thing I try and remember when I go to sleep to remind me that it's like I'm dreaming, was a white cat. My white cat came to me in a liminal image one morning when I woke up. And I was like, oh shit, inner me universe just was like, you're woke, and you're doing this work consciously now. Like literally waking life turned into the dream time for me. And now I can read my reality just like you're talking about with the dream time. Those are the skills that people can learn. Anybody can learn how to do that and head off that karma so it doesn't have to manifest into 3D. Part of this shift is more people are learning how to do that and do it in here and not have to have it manifest, because it's all just repressed stuff in their subconscious that they have put in the psychic face that they don't want to look at, or they just don't know because it's karma, like it's past life stuff, and they just don't know. They don't know how to look at their patterns. They don't know how to look
because a part of it, I found like the physical body would tend to tell you like, well, at least for me, like I would notice like, all right, okay. So for example, like the feeling that I would have picked up from Jacob, right? When you were feeling in the solar plexus and stuff, like I told you, like I used to feel something similar to that, and it would like every time I feel it, I would know, all right, here we go, and I could feel when it's about to like manifest in the physical. And if I don't actually like deal with it, and I actually like have tested it out, because I guinea pig myself a lot, right? So like I would notice certain things, like if I get like a little pain on my arm or something, I would leave it. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't do energy work on it. I wouldn't do anything. And I would notice a pattern of like something physical. Somebody would call me, right? All right. So and then the next time I try it, I just leave it, watch it, person call again. All right. So then next time I feel, and I would actually be able to like observe like how the conversation goes, and I know where I'm supposed to maybe interject and whatever the case may be. But I just like,
it's a karmic conversation.
Yeah, but like I try to like see like, okay, where the physical and then the mental and the spiritual, the emotional side of things, and then I actually then like solve it within my consciousness within my body, and then I start to feel it moving through the emotions and then the mental side of things, and then
then it
conversation comes again, and boom, it changes completely. It's like if you're dealing with a completely different person altogether.
Yes. You have a conscious conversation with them. Yeah, you can have a completely different conversation. That's amazing.
I think it's some kind of like, again, like timeline jumping thing. So like that's why, like, when either if I like do energy work on myself or like I assist other people in energy work, they might notice like certain changes within their own physical reality that might occur.
That's how 3D works. Is like, as you clear the stuff out of the psychic basement, you clear the karma, you clear the emotional blocks, you clear the acupuncture meridians, you clear the organs. Universe, that's what universe does. It's a mirror. So if you're running clear, if you're running in alignment, your reality can only reflect that. That's what it does. It only reflects what you're doing here. So if you're clearing that out, then 3D life changes for you. It's absolutely true. It's the only way it can work.
Yeah, it is a mirror.
It's a mirror. Exactly. It's a mirror. And that's what people need to understand. If their life looks like a big old dog turd, there's a big old dog turd in here that you need to go figure out. That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
if they don't
that'd be tough.
Go in here. But a lot of people don't have
man.
that. Yeah, exactly. And I know, like, when you're talking about, I get a ping on my arm, like, I've learned acupuncture meridians in the last year really well, because my body, I can literally be like, I know what, say, just for an example, I know what the bladder meridian feels like. I know what emotions are associated with it. It's like panic and really hard, scary feelings, paranoia. So it's like, every time I get that coming just up in the psyche, it's like, I know it's just coming up from that meridian to be seen and integrated. And all I have to do is go, ooh, there's that feeling again. It's like I have them categorized. I know what they are and know where they're coming from. And I go, there's that feeling again. Okay, body, how can I assist in moving that energy? And literally, as soon as I say that now, something will ping. And I'm like, okay, it's also in this meridian. And I'll tap on it with my EFT tapping. And then I'll just tap there, and then it'll go somewhere else. And it'll spend like 10 or 15 minutes unwinding out of all those organs, all the fascia, all the meridians that layer of it was stuck in or entangled with. And then it stops, and it's like the emotion stops, and it's like, I've moved through it. I integrated it consciously. It's not running anymore. It's not subconscious anymore. And that skill has only turned on with the body being able to turn around and just ask the body, how can I help you? After peeling layers and layers and layers of things and really feeling okay to be in the body. So a lot of people aren't even in their body enough to be like, like you're making the connection with, like, okay, this thing over here, something's getting ready to manifest. Like, it on another level. Mine is connected in my body, which is interesting. Yeah. Like catching the manifestation in 3D in real time.
Yeah, it's when you really think about it, it is true that, like, the way how society has it it causes people to like disconnect from their bodies, a lot of the foods and stuff like that, even down to the way we like breathe disconnects us from our body as well too. So it is basically like the analogy is you're the driver, but you're hanging outside of your car, and somebody else driving the car, or the car driving itself. Basically.
That's funny. My first lucid dream down this path was literally the truck, and there was no steering wheel. My dreamer was like, literally, you're not even driving the car, girl.
I like that analogy.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah. So it's like in itself, but I don't want to like bring it into the perspective of who doing what and thing, but that is the I never remember reading a book. I can't remember which book, but it talked about the ego being like an autopilot system. So like kind of like seeing it like a lot of people's autopilot system, like basically stuck on and like you can't press that like you want to drive the car mode, because the body already then programmed to like do certain things subconsciously that would have come up through like childhood and all the cartoons and TV shows and stuff that we'll be watching and stuff. So like the soul now is like, like see it like you floating outside the vehicle, so you're like fully embodied. So
Yeah.
even like when you talk about like higher self and stuff, like that's even like bring like
It's you,
acknowledging
not in
that
your
you
body.
set right.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
until you then become more of that embodied
Yeah.
self, being conscious of like the changes within even just within your system, because you could feel the changes within many things. It doesn't have to be just your body. It could be your
Yeah.
mind. You could feel in your emotions. Your emotions would tell you certain things. Um, but I had to learn to start with the body at first, because
Yeah.
I was more into like the mental realms and like all the creating different stuff with the energy and stuff, but I was neglecting my body, my physical body, a
Yeah.
bit. So actually then incorporating like the meditation, because I never really used to
Mhm.
meditate either, right? I just used to like be able to like apply the magic and do it, right? But now that I'm incorporating all that stuff, like deep breathing and learning to like intake certain water and stuff, then it has boosted everything and balanced the entire thing. So you don't have to do much at all, really.
Right.
The body tends to take care of itself once you put in the effort to. It takes care. It takes
That's
care of
it.
you, because
That's
it
it.
is.
Yeah, you just have to participate. You have
So,
to, I mean, the body has got you covered. You will be on autopilot for as many lifetimes as you want to be, but it's when you
yeah.
start bringing conscious awareness to it and taking responsibility, like, okay, I'm in a body.
Yeah,
How can
I
I help
see
the
it.
body be the best version of
I
itself?
I see it as a body. The body is really, and a lot the same Keylontic sense. They teach you system of actually just like acknowledging that your body is the manifestation of your of the template, the whole manifestation template. So it's a part of your
It's your
system.
temple.
Yeah, right. So
And I
even
also,
like. Mhm.
go ahead.
Well, yeah, so like the creating the dissociation with the body and stuff, and like people saying, well, they don't really like want to like take care of it because it feel like a trap and stuff like that and all
Those
that
are
stuff.
programs
Then
that are running.
yeah,
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 those are
right.
programs
So
that are running that you have to
um,
identify. Those are wounds. Because I
yeah,
went through all those, like literally trick trap was betrayal wound. Like it took
right,
me a good while to figure that out, but that one kept coming up hardcore with paranoia. Like all kinds of fun things came up for me.
right. But then when we start to realize that like our technology, this technology here is
This
the
technology,
pinnacle, yeah, is
it's
amazing.
light years beyond anything, any machine thing, right?
Yeah, we
And
just we just
it's
running it on
just get
on like
into it,
we're running it
right?
on like 2%. Right now
Yeah,
on 2%.
we're running. What do they call it? Safe
Yeah.
mode. We're running on safe mode,
On
right?
our battery saving mode, because
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
really
on
think
low
about
battery
it,
mode.
like
Really?
like
You know what it
we
is though, Jerome? It's because your stuff is not turning on. Like
yeah,
the
because
the
like
biotech is not turning on because your body is expending all its energy keeping the crap locked up in the psychic basement
cause
because
when,
it
yeah,
doesn't want to deal with it.
cause when you look at it like the foods, even like the okay, like bring it into like GMO foods, for example, the pesticides, heavy metals, stuff like that. I actually recently learned this too, that certain pesticides or like glyphosate and stuff like that in foods, for example, actually strips the body of copper. Your nerve system actually needs copper, which then exposes your myelin, um, and then, you know, the other metals then like mercury and stuff like that,
Coated.
degrade the nervous system. All right.
Yep.
And then you got the Wi-Fi and everything else.
Yep. Can you say remote controlled human? Right?
Right.
Like,
so I mean, you can imagine like how much bombardment like some people actually getting hit with. So and I even had to then acknowledge when I was going through all the frustrations of like why people not seeing what's going on and stuff. But like it is people like, you know, there's a lot of energy that many people are dealing with, and being disconnected from the body, not being able to feel any of it is yeah, because you the more you start to connect with yourself and you start to feel your body and feel your emotions and your thoughts and stuff like that, you start to be able to like, you could hear like when somebody tells you something, you could feel that something feels right or it feels feel right. Intuition is, you know, a little different. The experience is different.
Yeah. To circle back for a second to like things, I can't remember exactly how we were talking about it, but there was something I wanted to mention about when you're doing the inner work. It can also, you were talking about like, I feel it in the mental body, I feel it in the physical body. It's not only that, it can also show up in 3D as things that stop happening, like literally patterns you stop doing. And it's like, you don't notice the absence of them until maybe like weeks or months down the way. And you're like, I haven't done that in 3 months. And I used to do that, you know, like those were programs that were not you. And it's all things that are running that are stuck in your body, or like, you know, an energy layer. It's stuck somewhere. If it's bad for the body, you know, I'm going to just use my example of like Starbucks. Okay. You guys, I moved through some gallbladder stuff. That was the 2 weeks with that celestial alignment. Like I was hardcore moving through gallbladder stuff in that meridian, in that organ. There was a wall, an energetic wall around the organ that the dream later after the fact showed me that it's like I had to break through the wall to deal with the energy that was stuck in the organ to move it out. I had for 2 years, probably longer, I had this craving for Starbucks. It was like every day. I had to have something from there every day. When I had that dream where it showed me I moved through that organ wall and had dealt with that energy, that craving stopped overnight.
Right.
Literally haven't wanted one since then. And it's, you know, it's like every time I go to Starbucks, I would bring conscious awareness to it. It's like, I know this is bad for my body, but I also just have this hankering for it. So I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm going to do it with conscious awareness. Hey, Jerome, can I keep mute?
Sorry.
There's a whole lot of noise in the background. Yeah, so it's just like, if it's bad for the body and you are doing it for some reason, you don't know why you're doing it, it's a program. It's literally something that's like driving you to do that. That's not you. It's a layer of not you. That seems to be my go-to phrase recently. So you guys can also be on the lookout for those kinds of things. Maybe it's not some massive like third eye ability that kicks on, but maybe like you move through something and you're like, hey, I stopped doing this thing. Like maybe it's biting your fingernails or like chewing on your pencil or twirling your hair or something, but it's like, that's a nervous tick. So,
and sometimes it's like the little things that like correlate to the biggest impacts they'll have, like traits that you'll play out, ones that are toxic, that'll start out and they'll kind of come around to playing out in little ways that you'll start doing that. And I like that. I think it's good to look at those small things as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. The absence of the thing is just as important as something that new that starts. You know, sometimes those things have to go away before new fun things can activate. I think that's the key word for this portal, you guys, is activate. How many days do we have? It's what, the 17th today? So we got like 3 days. It's on Saturday. equinox is on Saturday. Like, this is one thing, nobody has to take this suggestion, but like, this is one thing that either Inner Me or guides or somebody has always brought to my attention around like equinoxes and solstices. It's like, fast, like juice fast, get the meat. It's mostly like get the meat protein out of your diet, get the dairy out of your diet. And it's like, literally, it's just like, do the juices and get the, I really feel like it's other animal DNA. It's like, get the animal DNA out of your body. Like, so your signature is clearly your signature. That's really what I feel like it is. So not every now and then, now, whenever we come up to like a portal like this, it's always like at least 3 days before. That was my plan. It was like, I was going to start doing a juice fast 3 days before. I started after the dream last week with the gallbladder thing, because like, it's just, I had no appetite for anything because the body was integrating so hard. It was like, I just need you to stop eating because I'm focusing on this other stuff. So I was drinking a lot of water and drinking a lot of juice. That was like already 5 days ago. So I've already been doing it since 5 days ago, and it just kind of happened. And that's how I know it's like, okay, I know I'm supposed to do it for that long, because obviously this is a major portal and I need to get the body really clear. So it's like living foods, living juices, lots of good fresh water, cell salts, all those things, Himalayan salt, whatever kind of salt floats your boat, as long as it's not plain old Morton white salt, which is terrible.
I've been having a lot of cravings for like meats and carbs and junky food like that. If I'm having cravings, should I stop, or is that what I'm supposed to be doing?
You could try it for a day. Like, if you need to do it, universe will call you to do it. Like, I just know that I was supposed to do it, and it happened when it happened, and I just kept rolling with it. For you, because like, number one, you're growing, so I wouldn't really deprive yourself of anything, but maybe spend a day, do like a juice fast for a day.
Okay. And
see how hard it is. Like, the first time's always the hardest time, because your body's like, where's my junk food? Where's my chicken and dumplings or whatever, right? It's like, where's that stuff that I'm used to eating? So try it. I mean, it's a good step in the right direction. See how your body feels.
Juice fasting isn't bad, because I still feel like I'm getting nutrition and like I'm full. It's actual fasting, not having anything but water. That's hard for me to stick with for more than.
Yeah, I don't do water fasting very well. Juice fasting I can do. So, and usually what I do is I'll drink juice and water, like intermittent, 1 juice, 1 water. And I go as long as I can until I get hungry, which, like, so far today, I've only had 1 juice and water. That's all I've had all day. And then for dinner, like when I start getting hungry, like right around now, I'll eat a salad with just vegetables and like oil and lemon, like absolutely the least amount of anything else, just good, healthy vegetables. And it seems to work. Like, the more often I do it, the more I feel like I could do the whole thing just on juice. But I wouldn't do that for an extended period of time. Like, I wouldn't do that for 10 days. I might do just juice for 3 days, because you also have to worry about sugar stuff too. Like, if you have any kind of diabetic stuff. I'm not a doctor. I don't give health advice. This is just what I do for medical purposes. Yeah. So do what feels right for your body. If your body doesn't like it, if it's too much sugar, like, you got to get good juice, number one, or do smoothies. But smoothies as in just fresh fruit and water and greens, that kind of thing. Mine always have greens in them. But that's just a fun little nugget that I thought I'd throw in there, that it's like, yeah, I was planning on doing a 3-day juice fast, and it's turned into like a week and a half.
Mine have been the opposite.
Overachiever.
My body been like, I mean, before, don't get me wrong, like all last year and stuff like that, I did cleanses. I've been doing some cleanses, and it made me realize, yo, like, the body, once you got the body, the car, the vehicle clear, especially like I noticed like from using like maybe like there's a combination psyllium husk, charcoal,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of bentonite clay, just to kind of like as a binder, and then you fast while taking that, and you get out like you can
You're a
pull
little
out.
quiet there, Jerome.
Huh?
Your mic it's not picking it up very well, just a heads up.
Oh my
Sorry for interrupting. Continue.
hear me? Right. Yeah, that once you clear out the a certain bit of like biofilm that usually is in the colon, the body or the colon is able to vibrate in the body, right? Which also helps to like raise the frequency of the entire system, because the colon is corresponding, I think, to the root chakra, if I'm not mistaken. So I noticed when I did that last year, they started to feel like the energy, so much energy was just like moving through my hands. Like, listen, like it felt like cones. Like I had cones around my hands, my head, and my feet. Were my whole waist felt like if I had on like some kind of like it felt like an energy band, and it was just moving down through my feet. So yeah, it was interesting, and then like you could feel the prana being sucked into the body.
Wow.
And a guy was explaining that's like the beginning stages of like breatharianism, but like
Yeah.
when the colon is like completely empty, the body goes into a different form of like drawing fuel to itself.
Yeah. That's impressive. And a lot of it too is like, get the dairy out of the diet, people. Like that clogs up the large intestine, clogs up the whole works. Dairy does nothing but create mucus and like the biofilm you were talking about. Yeah. I noticed when I went through the gallbladder stuff, like I moved through that energy work, it was like, now I eat half of what I can eat. Like I can eat. It's just unbelievable to me, because I used to eat like I had a hollow leg, and that's because the large intestine wasn't in the small intestine. You know, the food wasn't getting broken down and assimilated in the colon. So yeah, and the stomach was a problem because it wasn't digesting it. It wasn't breaking it down with stomach acid. I did have low stomach acid. I bet if I had got retested, it would probably be normal now, because I've moved through so many stomach emotions that it's like, I'm good. So yeah, now I can eat like half of what I eat. I drink half a juice and I'm like, I'm full. Like that never happens. And this is literally like in the last 2 weeks, all these changes have happened. So it can happen that fast, people. You can move through the stuff. You can clear it out of your body. Your body spends a day or two like recalibrating. Like I had a massive headache the day after that dream, the gallbladder dream. And I didn't take any aspirin. I just laid low in bed and I'm like, okay, body's integrating. We're just going to have a self-care day. We're going to take a nice hot shower and lay in bed and nap all day. And that's what it needed. It just needed a day to recalibrate and defrag those neural patterns. And since then, it's like, my diet is great. I'm so happy. And I didn't have to work at it. Well, not in that way anyway. I had to work at it in another way. Well, you guys, this has been such an amazing chat. There's been so many good little tidbits in here for all kinds of things, everything over the rainbow. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share before we sign off? Like, Jerome, do you want to promote anything? Like, tell us how people can get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me through, I have a page on Facebook, Unified Energetics, YouTube, that's Unified Energetics as well, Instagram. And then I have I guess I don't know if you call that a podcast, more so like like my own like personal like just recordings. I do some insights. and that's Crystalline Living on Anchor, or I think Google Podcasts it is on as well. I have sessions available. And you can email me any queries, any questions at jeromehedley246@gmail.com.
And we'll put all that down in the description box too for anybody that wants to get in touch with you.
Okay.
Because we organize. Any final thoughts, anybody?
I feel very complete.
Very good. Kate, anything?
Thanks for letting me join in. Oh, the dog just came over.
That's so cute. You come to any and all of them. And we want to encourage everybody to have conscious conversations like this and just be able to jump in and chat real time. With
cool.
Everything. So yeah.
You want to end it with one of the planets?
Oh, you know what? I don't have the chime. I do have the chimes. Hang on, let me see. I do. Okay. You guys, pick a planet. Who wants to be in charge of picking the planet? Pick a planet in the solar system.
You want to take the honor, Kate?
Oh. How about, I don't know.
Don't think too hard. First one,
right,
first one I hear is the one I'm going
like
for.
Too late now. I thought too hard about it.
Okay, anybody, pick a
Neptune.
Neptune. Oh, good one. We are in Pisces season. Neptune. All right, we getting ready to get our Neptune vibes on. You guys, thank you so much. For anybody that wants to connect with Lingual Light Podcast outside of the podcast, we're also on Instagram as lingual_light_podcast. We'll put all that in the description. We're on Instagram. We're on Clubhouse. Jerome, we're going to have to get you chatting on Clubhouse. We're going to figure that out. We have a Discord server and a Patreon and a Ko-Fi. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us, and have a great equinox. I had to think about that for a minute. Have a great equinox. Thanks for watching. These things will ring forever, but Zoom won't pick them up forever. So thank you, everyone. Have an excellent night.